We're in the middle of the TV upfront, and you know, I saw you read the article about Linda Yaccarino this morning about the efforts around NBC Universal, and I know you're not in the media buying game yourself, and I don't want to ask about the dynamics of the pricing and all that sort of thing, but give me an idea about how you think the TV marketplace is changing, and how, you know, what companies like NBC Universal are doing, what this open AP thing is with Turner. You know, give us your thoughts about the changing TV marketplace.
Yeah, so let's break it into two. Because as you say, rightly so, the buying side is different than maybe the actual side or the delivery side, because as a watcher, you really don't give a crap about what's happening on the buying end. So I'll just say up front that algorithms always drove this business. Now, back in the day, we didn't know they were called algorithms, but people bought by CPMs, right? So they went and they didn't look at the shows originally, except what they bought on network, which is a little bit different. But they would always go, when you bought spot TV across the country, you looked at a CPM. And every morning, the sales guys would come in, and the people who planned the regions would have little packets outside their offices in these baskets, and they'd pick them up, and in the afternoon they'd bring them back, and they'd look at the CPM analysis, and that was the algorithm. And that's how they bought. And then after they made the deal, they'd go back and they'd look at the specific shows they bought, the specific daytimes, they'd talk about placement, and they would do all those negotiations. So as we all know, in the digital world, that hasn't been happening. It's just been the algorithm and pushing ads out, which has been a major problem. And when you look at Google, so Google now put up a new platform, so they want to sell TV as in traditional TV the way they sell digital, and maybe that'll work or not work. I think you have to obviously pay attention to the issues around placement. So on network TV, it's obviously a lot better, or a lot easier. On cable, whatever, it's a lot easier because you don't have to worry about the ISIS ads and the Nazi stuff that people have to worry about in the general digital thing. But it's complex, because the promise of so much data and so much targeting makes one think that that's what they have to do, that you have to be super targeted. Now, interestingly enough, Facebook is actually going the other way and telling people they need to be broader, which I think is pretty interesting. And if you listen to Mars, for example, Mars is telling people, like, we go as broad as we can. We have 9 billion people who could buy our product, and we want to make sure we talk to all of them. So I think, again, we're just sort of at this nexus of the ability to micro-target versus do we want to be a little bigger target or whatever. So that's the buying side, and that's the targeting side. I think on the content side, which to me is the more interesting, we're in the golden age here. Like, let's be clear. So if you go back 10 years and just go Google it or Bing it, if you will, and you can find this out. But if you look at where TV was going, and when I use TV, by the way, I don't mean broadcast, and I don't mean network or cable or traditional or old. I mean anything that you watch in video format that is well produced, that's got a story, that makes me want to watch multiple units of. That to me is TV. It makes no difference if I watch it on this, or on that. And by the way, most people really want to watch the good stuff on that. They'll watch on this or this just to pass the time. So, but if you look at what's been happening, the quality of television production has never been this good. It's pretty wild. Hollywood producers, directors, and actors are showing up on Netflix, on the networks, on Amazon, wherever, because people are spending a ton of money producing great stories. Now, again, if you go back and read what the analysts were saying 8, 10 years ago, they were saying, no, it's all going away. It'll all be CGI, and the scripts really aren't important, the actors aren't important. But it's just not the case. There's more stuff on location than ever before. Less stuff in studio, less CGI. Although I'm not quite sure if those dragons and, you know, Game of Thrones are real or not. Maybe they'll be not, but let's assume that there's CGI. So there's still a little CGI. But at the end of the day, I mean, just go look. You can see how much of it's done. So I think we have these two issues, right? They're sort of fighting each other. You have on the one side, people want this incredible content, and they want to get it in a way that makes sense to them. On the other side, you have this hyper-targeting of digital that people are now pushing back against, as well as the way we sell it. The biggest issue of all is, by the way, that people think they can get this all without advertising. And so Linda Yaccarino, who you mentioned before I began my ramble, basically just rightly pointed out that without advertising, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon wouldn't be able to sell 3/4 of what they sell, nor would they have the money to produce what they produce, because they're selling the stuff that advertising has created and has allowed to be created. They're just reaping the benefit of it.
So what do you think about bringing that digital targeting to the TV world, to the TV premium network
Look,
world?
clearly, addressable TV is a thing, and it's going to be a thing. I mean, we were using addressable. We were doing experiments with this. We were beta testing this already 16, 17 years ago when I was at Wunderman. So clearly, that's going to be important. But hyper-targeting is just proving not to be as successful a thing as we think. What's really important is data. Once you react, once I know who you are, all of that becomes great. Then I can use my data to help close the funnel, to help bring you down and close the deal, or somehow get you more interested. But the truth is, at the front end, hyper micro targeting is creating an echo chamber that's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And so what you see, and that's why if you listen to Mark Pritchard and listen to others, they keep talking about, wait a second, we need to think about expanding it a little. So yes, we've always targeted. We've always looked for better ways to target. I think the problem is we're in a world of because we can, we do, as opposed to people taking a step back and thinking about it and saying, okay, what am I actually targeting? Why am I targeting this? Is it demographics? Is it values? Is it something else that I should be thinking about? But do I really only want to talk to people who are going to buy a car in the next 6 months, who have a propensity to buy a Ford or a Mercedes, and only talk to them? Well, if that's what you do, you've gone down the wrong path.